Hello, I'm Chris Bonnello and I'm the author of Alfie Smith the Speedcuber.
I'm Sally J. Pla, and I'm the author of this big cat book called Ada and Zaz.
Hi, I'm Jacinta Reed and I'm the illustrator for Third Time's a Charm by Kate Foster.
I'm Michelle Morwise and I'm the author of the Kingdom of Pages series.
Well, for starters, I'm very much a Rubik's Cube speed solver myself, and it's a topic that I'm not sure anyone's actually written a fiction book about before. And also, I'm autistic as well, as is my main character, and we really need more stories where autistic people get to be the heroes rather than the people who are looked down on or treated like there's something wrong with them.
I was a gymnast for most of my childhood, and I loved it. It's some of my most favourite days of when I was young, when I was at the gym and I was with my teammates and we were practicing new moves and just having a wonderful time. But I know that autistic people are quite often not thought of as sporty or enjoying taking part in team sports or being part of a team. So I wrote the book really to show that we are and we can be, and it is a great pleasure for so many of us. But that doesn't mean that being part of a team, being part of competitions can be, they can be quite a challenge. So I wanted to kind of find that balance in the book of all the good things, but also some of the tricky things, and how with help from others we can get through those times.
I love fantasy so much. I have always loved it and always will. And I also am autistic, and growing up I didn't get to see autistic characters in books very often. And then when I did start finding autistic characters in books, a lot of those books were contemporary, which I really love those books too. But I want more fantasy books with autistic characters, which is why I decided to write The Kingdom of Pages, and why I made Cleo autistic in The Kingdom of Pages. So Cleo is autistic like me, and Cleo lives in this amazing fantasy world in their aunt's antique shop. And from there, they go on adventures with their friends, and they follow their favorite adventuring group, and they go on quests and help save the day, and it's just so much fun. And it was so exciting to get to write about this really overwhelming but incredible world and how Cleo navigates it.
So I was very excited. I was also nervous because obviously Third Time's a Charm is such an important story to me, such a personal story. So I really wanted to, I hoped that I would be matched with an illustrator who would really be able to bring my story and my characters alive. So yes, it was very nerve-wracking, but I had to trust the people who were in charge of the process, and also had to trust the illustrator. And it just so happened that it worked out absolutely wonderfully. And I'm very grateful to Jacinta for creating such beautiful illustrations that match the vibe and the theme and the tone of the story. So yeah, it was a really great experience, and I'm very honoured and grateful.
Honestly, I was really excited to see what Tim could produce for the book. As soon as I found out his name, I looked him up, and by wonderful coincidence, his type of artist style, his type of illustrations perfectly matched the vision in my head for what I envisioned for Alfie Smith the Speedcuber. So the fact that I never met him face to face, and I still haven't to this day, that's fine by me. I'd be very happy to meet him face to face, but I don't think we've lost anything because of the fact that our relationship has been purely online. His work for the book has been magnificent.
With this one specifically, like the text mentions that one of Cleo's favourite stims is rocking back and forth on their heels while they're standing, and it really stumped me when I was given the brief. Actually, I tried making the movement and I found it really uncomfortable instead of soothing, and I was so stuck by it. I actually found Michelle on social media and I reached out to them to ask for a little bit of help.
I had never considered how drawing autistic characters and movement and the flow of movement would be before, but talking to Dante, that was the sort of thing we would discuss.
Immediately, Michelle shot a video of themselves doing the stim for me, and I got it, you know, and it was really cool to be able to draw a stim that like I wouldn't do, but obviously someone does. And Michelle were inspired, like Cleo wears like a necklace that they chew, a stim toy that's modelled on one of Michelle's favourite stim toys. So I was Yeah, really glad I did that.
Some of the little things we connected on were just so cool.
I hope that you will realize that you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes and realize what they need and what they're like, and that if you do that, if you're able to like sort of put yourself in somebody else's place and understand them, that's the first step to making a new friend and to being a good friend. And I hope you make many wonderful friends in your life that are very different and unusual and fun, and that teach you all kinds of new ways of being and loving and caring for each other.
It's okay to be who you are, and you're wonderful who you are. And I hope they read my books, and I hope autistic kids reading it see how Cleo stims like they stim, and how Cleo does what they need to in order to get through their day and deal with this overwhelming world they live in, even as they go off and have adventures and have so much fun.
Anyone can do sports. Just because you may think that someone has a disability or they look like they can't participate for whatever reason, they absolutely can. There is a place for every child, every person on a sports team, and doing sports and activities that they love.
If you happen to drop into the award ceremony at this competition, you might not have any idea how hard Billy had to work to overcome her anxiety and earn her medal. Sadly, success doesn't always come straight away. Often we have to make several attempts before we achieve a goal, whether that's in a competition like Billy's or in any other area of life.
I also hope that they'll come away knowing a little bit more about gymnastics and how gymnastics competitions work, but also understanding the incredible importance and influence and power of teammates, and getting together, clubbing together and supporting each other through difficult times as well as the good times, because that's what a true team does. They stick together, they celebrate the wins, but they're also there through the darker, harder times, and they support one another regardless. And I think that is what makes a true team succeed.
Especially if they're neurodivergent, they'll feel really seen and really valued by the book. I hope everyone will see the differences on show between the neurodivergent and the neurotypical kids in the book, and they will understand that these differences, like neurodivergent people may have unique struggles, but we're different, not less. And I hope that particularly neurodivergent kids will see like grown-ups like me and Michelle, and they'll see like a future there.
Autistic people can be heroes too. There are thankfully, more and more books coming out these days with autistic or otherwise neurodivergent heroes, people with ADHD, dyslexic people and so on. And I think it's important not just for neurodivergent children to see autistic and otherwise neurodivergent children as the heroes in the story, but I think it's important for everyone else to see us as the heroes in the stories as well. We deserve a lot better than to not be represented or be represented negatively. I think it's time for us to be the heroes as well in fiction.
Happy reading, and thanks for listening.